Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to New Forest Morphs. Jared and I just had a wonderful day in the facility. We had a beautiful family come and see us who've bought a snake from us, and it's thriving really well, and it was just lovely for them to come over with their children and just explore our collection. And I think their son wants to be a reptile keeper, so I think we've planted a massive seed there. But just wanted to say thank you to everyone for the lovely comments and the support you're giving us on our last video. And I think we were talking about the snakes and the spirituality attached to those snakes, and we're connected to them, Jared, and that we see them as individual characters with their own individual spirits, and how sacred that is, and how important it is to look after and respect whatever body they're housed in, whether it's a perfect body or whether it's got deformities or defects or disabilities, that there's still a spirit in that snake. And I think it's actually resonated really well with a lot of our viewers who also have spiritual connections with their snakes. They know what we're talking about. But there's a couple actually, and one of them is a friend of mine I've had for several years, David, and he is a mad keen fisherman. He keeps a lovely collection of snakes. He sends me lovely messages and pictures, and Jared, he's also come back and given us a name for our puzzle girl that's coming. We've got two options, and David suggested both of them. Now he's from, I think he's from the Caribbean, and he suggested Jigsaw is the girl's name, and you can see his little message, Jigsaw, so we WhatsApp each other a lot. And then the other name, I said, what about a Caribbean name? He's come up with Montego Bay, which I think that's a lovely name as well. And I think the one
that's in Jamaica.
That's in Jamaica. Now, have you been there, Jared?
Yeah, I've been there.
Didn't you go there with your wife, and you had a lovely family holiday there, and you ate like kings and queens, and it was it really beautiful?
Yeah, it was lovely.
I wonder if David's from that area. Maybe he is, but well, this is his family up from there. But Dave's got some amazing stuff. I can show you some of his projects if you like. I'm sure you won't mind. Also, he collects beautiful watches as well. I mean, he's got some amazing watches. Just look at those, Jared. He's got a collection of Rolex. He loves his Rolex. But he's a mad, keen camper van man. And he's going to come down with his camper van and see our collection. Jared wants to come down and socialise with us, maybe do some fishing. And I'll get him to do a Caribbean barbecue. Caribbean style would be nice. But real lovely guy, lovely character, and he's being very generous because he's going to bring with him his old rub systems. Now I've got various families who are starting up, Jared, who he could do with those rubs, and Dave is going to keep a couple back for himself, but he said that he'll be happy to bring a few down with him as well. Nice. So I think that would be great. Ones with the handles as well, which I think Nat and Matt would appreciate because they're running out of handles and things. So I think we can actually recycle those through into the new breeders coming in, Jared, and help them with their collections. And you can see he's got quite a few in the attic. He's been digging in there. So thank you, David, for your generosity. That's very kind. He also has some beautiful snakes that he wants to donate as well to the right families. And he's going to give me a list of those snakes, and he's very generously said that he'll bring, either we go up and pick them up, or the families go and pick them up, or he might bring a couple down with him when he visits, so depending on what his capacity and schedule is. But we'll find out from David which ones he wants to gift to these new breeders, and they will be for new breeding families that are just getting off the ground. And I think it's a lovely way of giving the new breeders a boost. So again, thank you very much, David, for your generosity. And the other thing that I found interest, Dave's very good on when it comes to things like conservation of energy. So he's been giving me some ideas of how we can save on our electricity bill. We just got landed with a £2,000 electricity bill, didn't we, Jared? Which I'm paying off over the next few months. But it's had a new meter installed, and I didn't realise just how much electricity we're using here, Jared. But we had a meter installed, and they're saying that my electricity bill's gone through the roof. So what I've done is I said to David, how can I save money? And he's come up with some ideas. And one of the biggest problems we've got is we've got the freezer in here. And if we look at the freezer, Jared, that's working overtime to freeze the rats in a warm facility. Now we've got two options. We can take the freezer out into the barn, which is cooler, and then we'll save money that way. Or he was suggesting coming up with a number of things. There's a company called Total Freeze Range, and he sent me the links, Jared. A 55 litre portable fridge freezer on Amazon. If you can zoom in on that, Jared.
The writing?
Yeah, so what I'll do is if I click on it, and I'll show you what he's talking about. So there we go, there's the setup. Now he's using these for his rats, Now there's 55 litres, there's 40 litres, 35 litres, a whole range. But what they do is they actually only use 35 watts, so they're low on electricity, but they'll have up to 100 rats in there, Jared. So people that don't want to mix their rats into their family freezer, they just buy one of these, and they're actually very, very good. He's very happy with that. So thank you, David, for that recommendation. Very much appreciated. And then the other thing I was going to say, Jared, we've got some good news because the Desert Ghost clutch is starting to shed out. And why don't we go and get those out and show a bit of snake candy, and then we'll come back and do a final shout out to another breeder before we wrap up and have a game of golf. So let's bring these ones out. And as you can see, Jared, they're not all out of shed, but I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have shed out, and there's 2 or 3 still yet to shed out, I think. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. So let's start with this one here. So my favourite snake hasn't shed out yet. You can see the one with a cross on its head. And we've got quite a few needles here. I'll keep them together so you can see what's going on. But you can see the one that has shed out, which is...
There's 2 there that have shed out.
Yeah, can you see this one here? This is that one there is shed out, and that looks like to me, Jared, as that this is a fire desert ghost. That's what I see there.
Sure if it's desert. I don't know if it's het.
Well, I don't think I've seen a fire so clean as that. Can you see how clean that is?
But would the het not do that?
Yeah, I mean, if you compare it with a normal fire, Jared, that is a very, very bright looking snake. I might be wrong, but I think that is a desert ghost fire. And then this one here, I'll pull this one out. This is a very, very pretty snake. That's the one I'm really looking forward to coming out. That one I believe is the all gene animal there, but it isn't quite ready to come out yet, so we will let that one stick for a bit, and hopefully in the next day or 2 it will come out. But this is the one that I think a lot of people like anyway, without the pastel. That's what I believe to be a fire Enchi desert ghost, potentially het for pied. And I think
likely with the ringers it's got.
Yeah.
The tracks.
Just look at the patterns on its body though, Jared. You see those beautiful patterns? Absolutely gorgeous. So that's out of shed, and now you're seeing how beautiful it is, and we think it could well be het for pied. Yeah, a lovely snake, beautiful head stamp. I love the blushing on its body, Jared. I think it really looks beautiful. Gorgeous looking snake. So we'll be setting these up later this week, Jared, and really, really happy with those. And isn't that just beautiful? I think we've got 2 of these, one out of shed, one still in shed.
Yeah, that one's out.
Is that one out as well? Do you have a look at that one?
That out.
Let's have a wee look. So this is the second. Oh, I think this is even prettier, this one.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fire Enchi DG.
Fire Enchi DG, guys. Just look at that. A little bit shy, so it's going into a little bit of a ball, but we can bring its head pattern out. And there you have it. Fire Enchi DG. Look how clean the DG's making the fire and the Enchi together. So pretty. Really, really beautiful, Jared. And look at those lovely marks on it as well. Such a beautiful animal. Really, really gorgeous. And then if I bring it out in the light so you can see how it looks. I think the tail patterns, look at those wavy tail patterns on the tail, Jared. Just look how beautiful that is. I have to get a nice thumbnail for me, Jared, if you zoom in and get a really nice image. I think this is one of my favourite looking snakes, Jared. And Desert Ghost in the mix makes, look at the flames coming up from the belly and the fire. And that one does look like it's got het pied markings as well. Look at the tracks on that. And look at how all these little rises here could also be indicative of pied. I think we may have a pied here as well.
Het pied.
A het pied. And just look how clean that tail is, Jared. That's what the Desert Ghost does for you. Just zoom in on that and have a look. Is that beautiful? Really enjoying this clutch, Jared. Really enjoying it. Absolutely stunning. So that was the dream of 4 years ago, and I'm now seeing that come to fruition. Blushing on the dorsal. Gorgeous. And I think we'll get more blushing, Jared, when we get this one out with the pastel. You're going to get more blushing.
Yeah, when it's shed out.
So I think that's given you a rough idea of where we are. I think we'll come back to this clutch when they're fully out, Jared, but we'll just return them back on heat now. And then just to finish the video, I wanted to give a really special shout out to a lovely little family business called Puzzle Pythons. And Jared, I think you've got the Instagram handle. They don't have a YouTube channel yet, but they do have Instagram, Jared, and I think if you can just show them the logo, and I'm going to explain why we want to give this family a shout out.
I think it says piecing together the genetic puzzle.
Yeah, I love that strap line. I think it's really clever.
Some lovely snakes.
I got a lovely message from the family yesterday and today. They are loving our videos, Jared. They love my openness on the spiritual side of things, and I think I had a lovely chat on Facebook with I think it's Claire and Al. So Al is the husband, and he's got this ball python hobby. They only recently gone in, but he's produced some amazing animals. An orange dream desert ghost pied. If you go back on the Instagram where he shows some of his production, Jared, I'd like to give him a shout out. And if anyone can give them a follow on Instagram amongst the community, I think it would be very much appreciated. Give them some love and support, guys, and then you'll see what they're producing. They're into a similar project to ourselves, Jared. Even though I thought they were into puzzles, I said we must do a collaboration. And they say the reason they're called puzzle pythons is because they're not into the puzzle genetic. It's because of another reason, which is effectively what their strapline is saying. It's bringing the community together, and I think I love that vision of each of the breeders that are out there actually are part of the overall puzzle. So we're looking at the whole of the community as a massive puzzle. This is the analogy that they're throwing out to us, and I embrace that because we're not in competition against each other. We're here to help each other on the journey. And I think if we look at it from that perspective, the collaborations, the families that come in that we help one another. This family that came in, we've inspired their son to get into reptile keeping, and they both have a coffee shop and an ice cream parlour down in Leamington, and they very kindly said we'll market your Airbnb for you, but our son would love to have work experience here, so when he's old enough the son could come in, clean tubs and have a reptile experience. And I think because the family are entrepreneurs and they have their own businesses, Jared, I quite see the son wanted to set up a reptile shop in Leamington maybe, to help the local community. It's something that's in him, it's a passion. So I think that was a beautiful experience today. But coming back to the puzzle analogy, so if you look at us all as part of the overall picture that we're creating in the whole of the world, that you've got people in the US, people in Africa, people in Japan, people in Mexico, you've got people in Canada, you've got people all over the world, Alaska, you've got people in places like Taiwan, places like Russia, Germany, whole of Europe is we're all part of this massive puzzle. Wherever we are in the world, we're part of a massive puzzle, and that puzzle is unlocking the genetics and the personalities of our snakes, Jared. And what it's doing is it's kind of like bringing us all together, because as we hit some wonderful combinations and we want to further our projects, we're naturally embracing each other's interests, and we're seeing other people teaching us what they're doing with their genetics, and we're thinking, wow, that's wonderful. I've got a bunch of genetics here and I want to kind of mix them together. And so what you're doing is you're bringing the puzzle pieces together and you're unlocking the overall picture, and this is a picture that's going to continue to grow, it's going to continue to develop. So I really love that principle, and I think what it does, it brings families together, it brings individuals together. So I'd like to say thank you so much for all the love and support, all those people that are giving us support here at New Forest Morphs. It's very much appreciated. Jared, I think it's time for us to have a round of golf. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention today? Anything that particularly you wanted to bring up?
Nope.
Right, we shall keep the content coming. I hope everyone's season's going well, and we shall see you soon. And it's goodbye from Paul and goodbye from Jared. Bye bye for now.